Hello and welcome to my channel. Today I want to tell you the amazing story of Nikola Tesla. American inventor, one of the greatest inventors and visionaries of all time. Tesla was born in 1856 in a small village in what is now Croatia. He was fascinated by electricity and magnetism since he was a child, and he had a remarkable memory and imagination. He studied engineering and physics in Europe, where he developed his first inventions, such as an induction motor that used alternating current, AC, instead of direct current, DC. Tesla moved to the United States in 1884, hoping to work with Thomas Edison, the famous inventor of the light bulb and the phonograph. However, Tesla and Edison soon clashed over their different views on electricity. Edison favored DC, which was more expensive and less efficient than AC. Tesla believed that AC was the future of power generation and transmission, and he sold his patents to George Westinghouse, who supported his vision. Tesla set up his own laboratory in New York, where he experimented with various devices and phenomena, such as wireless communication, radio waves, X-rays, fluorescent lights, remote control, and high-frequency currents. He also invented the Tesla coil, a device that produced spectacular sparks and lightning bolts. Tesla was a master of showmanship, and he amazed audiences with his demonstrations and lectures. Tesla had many ambitious projects and ideas that were ahead of his time. He wanted to create a global system of wireless power transmission that would provide free energy to everyone. He also envisioned flying machines, robots, lasers, death rays, and interplanetary communication. He claimed to have received signals from Mars and to have contacted extraterrestrial beings. Tesla was a genius, but also a loner and an eccentric. He had many admirers and friends, but also many enemies and rivals. He was often misunderstood and exploited by others. He suffered from financial difficulties and mental breakdowns. He died alone in a hotel room in 1943, at the age of 86. Tesla's legacy is immense and inspiring. He is widely recognized as one of the pioneers of modern technology and science. He has influenced many fields and disciplines, such as engineering, physics, medicine, art, and culture. He has been honored with numerous awards and monuments, such as the Edison Medal, the Order of St. Sava, the Tesla Unit of Magnetic Flux Density, the Nikola Tesla Museum in Belgrade, Serbia, and the Nikola Tesla Corner in New York City. How did Tesla die? According to the sources I found, Nikola Tesla died of coronary thrombosis, a type of heart attack, on 7th January 1943, in New York City. He was 86 years old, and had been living in hotel rooms for decades. He died alone and in debt, with a "Do Not Disturb" sign on his door. Some have claimed that he was killed by a German spy, but there is no evidence to support this. His work left a lasting legacy. What was Tesla's relationship with Edison like? Tesla's relationship with Edison was complicated and sometimes hostile. They started as colleagues, but soon became rivals over the best way to transmit electricity. Edison supported direct current, DC, which he had already invested in and patented, while Tesla advocated for alternating current, AC, which he believed was more efficient and versatile. They engaged in a fierce competition, known as the War of the Currents, to win public support and contracts for their respective systems. Tesla and Edison also had different personalities and styles of work. Edison was a practical, hands-on inventor who relied on trial and error and teamwork. He had a large laboratory and a staff of assistants who helped him develop and test his ideas. He was also a shrewd businessman who knew how to market his inventions and secure funding from investors. Tesla, on the other hand, was a visionary, theoretical inventor who worked mostly alone. He had a prodigious memory and imagination, and he could visualize his inventions in his mind before building them. He was also a perfectionist who often discarded or abandoned his projects if they did not meet his high standards. He was less interested in money and fame than in advancing science and humanity. Despite their differences and conflicts, Tesla and Edison also had some respect and admiration for each other. They both recognized each other's genius and contributions to the field of electrical engineering. They also exchanged some compliments and praises over the years. For example, Edison once said that Tesla was a good fellow and a man who knows what he is talking about. Tesla, in turn, said that Edison was a pioneer of incalculable importance and one of the greatest benefactors of mankind. Tesla and Edison's relationship is a fascinating example of how science and technology are not only driven by facts and logic, but also by human emotions and motivations. Their rivalry and collaboration shaped the course of history and influenced many aspects of our modern world. They are both remembered as remarkable inventors and innovators who changed the way we use electricity. What other inventors did Tesla work with? Tesla worked with several other inventors and collaborators throughout his career. Some of them were George Westinghouse. He was an American engineer and entrepreneur who bought Tesla's patents for the alternating current (AC) system and supported his vision of using AC for power generation and transmission. He also funded Tesla's experiments at Niagara Falls, where he built the first hydroelectric power plant using AC. Charles Batchelor. He was a British engineer and inventor who worked closely with Tesla in his early years in the US. He helped Tesla set up his laboratory and assisted him with his experiments. He also acted as Tesla's secretary and translator. Robert Underwood Johnson. He was an American editor and diplomat who befriended Tesla and promoted his work. He published many of Tesla's articles and lectures in his magazine, The Century. He also introduced Tesla to many influential people, such as Mark Twain, Rudyard Kipling, and J.P. Morgan. J.P. Morgan. He was an American financier and banker who invested in Tesla's project of building a wireless power transmission system, known as the Wardenclyffe Tower. However, he later withdrew his support when he realized that Tesla's plan was not profitable or feasible. John Jacob Astor. He was an American businessman and inventor who was one of Tesla's friends and patrons. He invested in Tesla's research and inventions, such as the bladeless turbine and the wireless lighting system. He also gave Tesla a free suite at the Waldorf Astoria Hotel, where he lived for many years. Mark Twain. He was an American writer and humorist who was one of Tesla's admirers and friends. He visited Tesla's laboratory several times and participated in some of his experiments. He also wrote a glowing tribute to Tesla after his death. How did Tesla influence modern technology and science? Tesla influenced modern technology and science in many ways. He is widely recognized as one of the pioneers of electrical engineering, wireless communication, and renewable energy. Some of his inventions and contributions that are still used today are alternating current, AC, power system. Tesla developed the AC induction motor, the transformer, and the polyphase system that enabled the generation, transmission, and distribution of electricity over long distances. He also demonstrated the feasibility and safety of AC power by lighting up the World's Columbian Exposition in Chicago in 1893 and by harnessing the power of Niagara Falls in 1896. Wireless communication. Tesla experimented with radio waves and invented the Tesla coil, a device that produced high voltage, high-frequency currents that could transmit signals wirelessly. He also built a large tower in Wardenclyffe, New York, that he intended to use for global wireless transmission of voice, images, and power. Although his project was never completed, he is credited with laying the foundation for radio, television, and the Internet. Robotics. Tesla was fascinated by the idea of creating machines that could operate autonomously and intelligently. He invented a remote-controlled boat that he demonstrated at an electrical exhibition in 1898. He also envisioned robots that could perform human tasks and communicate with each other. He is considered one of the fathers of robotics and artificial intelligence. Electric vehicles. Tesla designed an electric car that he claimed could run on cosmic rays. He also patented a device that he called a valvular conduit, which some researchers believe was a precursor to the modern fuel cell. He also foresaw the development of hybrid vehicles that could use both gasoline and electricity as sources of power. Lasers. Tesla experimented with various forms of light and radiation, such as X-rays, ultraviolet rays, and cosmic rays. He also invented a device that he called a teleforce, which he claimed could produce a beam of particles that could destroy anything in its path. He is regarded as one of the inventors of the laser and its applications in medicine, industry, and warfare. These are just some examples of how Tesla influenced modern technology and science. He had many more ideas and inventions that were either lost, stolen, or never realized. He was a visionary who was ahead of his time and who inspired generations of innovators and thinkers. He is one of the most influential figures in human history. What were some of Tesla's personal habits and quirks? Tesla was a brilliant and eccentric inventor who had many personal habits and quirks that made him stand out from his peers. Some of them were: he was obsessed with cleanliness and germs. He washed his hands frequently and boiled his food before eating it. He also avoided touching anything that he considered dirty or contaminated, such as hair, jewelry, or human skin. He had a phobia of round objects, such as pearls, buttons, and women's earrings. He also disliked anything that was not symmetrical or proportional, such as fat people or imperfectly shaped objects. He had a fascination with the number 3 and multiples of 3. He would perform rituals that involved counting or doing things in threes, such as walking around a building 3 times before entering it, folding 18 napkins before eating, or requesting a hotel room number that was divisible by 3. He had a photographic memory and could recall images and information with great accuracy and detail. He also had a vivid imagination and could visualize his inventions in his mind before building them. He claimed that he never needed to write anything down or make sketches. He had an unusual sleep pattern and claimed to sleep only 2 hours per night, with occasional naps during the day. He would often work for long hours in his laboratory without rest or food. He believed that sleep was a waste of time and that he could train his brain to function without it. He was a vegetarian and avoided meat, alcohol, coffee, and tobacco. He preferred to eat fruits, vegetables, grains, honey, and milk. He believed that these foods were healthier and more conducive to mental clarity and creativity. He was celibate and never married or had any romantic relationships. He said that he was too devoted to his work and that he did not have time or interest for women. He also thought that sexual activity would diminish his intellectual abilities and energy. He had a love for pigeons and fed them regularly in the parks of New York City. He even brought some of them to his hotel room and nursed them when they were sick or injured. He claimed that he had a special bond with one white pigeon that visited him every day and that he loved her as a man loves a woman. If you are interested in learning more about Nikola Tesla and his incredible inventions and discoveries, I invite you to subscribe to my blog and follow me on social media. I will be sharing more facts, stories, and opinions on this fascinating topic. Thank you for watching and I hope to see you again soon.